Welcome to Just Another Autism podcast. In this podcast, I, Eileen Lamb, explore the personal journeys of people in the autism community, from autistic individuals navigating daily life to the caregivers, educators, and employers who support them. Each week, we shed light on the different ways autism shapes lives, offering first-person perspectives from every angle of the community. Today, our guest is Kiki Chambers. Kiki was diagnosed with autism when she was a toddler in 1991 in Canada. As an early diagnosed autistic adult, she is also a mom of two children on the spectrum and an autistic advocate on social media, especially on TikTok. Welcome, Kiki.
Thanks for having me. I'm actually really excited because we don't get to talk as much. I don't know. I'm going to be awkward this whole time. Enjoy.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to talk to you. We'll get to some of our history in a few minutes, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Can you tell our listeners about your diagnosis journey? You were 2 or 3 when you were diagnosed. I know it was in
Yeah.
1991. Yeah,
Yeah.
tell us about that.
Yeah. I was diagnosed 1991 right before my third birthday. Like it was like a month or two before my third birthday. And what happened was when I was born, my mom could tell something was different because I was colically, like I wouldn't stop screaming. And the only thing she could do was like pat me on the bum. She said sometimes she had to go so hard that I'm bouncing off the crib mattress just to calm me down, and she couldn't stop me from crying. So she ended up putting me into daycare at like 6 weeks just so she could sleep because I never slept. So then I started not reaching any of my milestones. I didn't sit up, I didn't crawl, I didn't roll over. So my mom started looking into different things, and I actually was going for a different diagnosis at the time because my mom didn't know about autism. It was relatively new. She never even really knew what it was. So she was trying to figure out a different diagnosis. And then right before I was 3, I had a huge skill regression that took all my speech. And when I went to go see the doctor, immediately they're like, yeah, that's autism. And my mom was like, you mean like Rayman? I was like, this is going to be a rough go. But yeah, so that's what happened. They immediately put me into social classes because I was diagnosed at a leading hospital for autism. But they tried social classes, and then they were like, oh well, no, like this isn't gonna work. She's keeps biting everybody. Like I had very aggressive behaviors of biting, gouging my own eyes out, scratching, to like all these really aggressive self-interest behaviors. So they stopped at I think 6 or 12 weeks. They stopped any interventions, and then on there, my mom just had to pretty much do it herself until I was in special education, but everything else my mom had to do on her own until I was about, I think, 8 or 9. And then she was able to start getting more supports for me.
Did you ever get ABA therapy?
Yeah, that's what they tried at the very beginning. But back in the day, because I was showing no progress, they're like, no, we're not continuing. But then they retried it I was in grade 5 when they tried to get grade 4, grade 5. My mom's better with dates than I am. Like it was just one big blur. Um, but yeah, grade 4, grade 5, they tried again. And then I did it for a year and a half. But at that time, because the first time I went through it, it was clinical. And then by then it was like 1998 and it was in home at that time. So
And so the social skills that was the equivalent of ABA, is that
yeah,
right?
it was a social behavior class that they were trying to teach us how to do it. And the thing about ABA that makes me kind of like what is that a lot of people will tell our stories for us that weren't in ABA, and they say stuff like, oh, well, they make kids sit at tables for 40 hours a week. And I was like, what? Some, yes, but a majority of us didn't have the capability to sit at tables. So they actually used to make like spots on the ground and be like, this is where you are and this is where you stay. So they would set out a hula hoop and they made like a designated spot that I had to stay within the boundaries, to the point where like I started doing this thing where I would just like go like this around me back and forth when I started going home. And then if anybody came into my space, that meant I could try to eat them. I don't know. Like, I started getting very like more aggressive, I guess, with the intervention because they were saying, oh, this is your circle, this is your boundaries. And I always had a hard time with spatial awareness. So that was just how I ended up dealing with it. But yeah, I never got a table and I never got M&Ms.
Oh,
So they always say, oh, you got M&Ms, they give you treats. And I'm like, they never gave me treats. Like,
that's funny.
so
Uh, how did you have I know that you love stairs, right? Is that
yeah,
something that started from when you were like very young? I mean, it's
yeah,
just so specific and I love it
yeah.
and I want to hear about it.
I don't know. Like people always ask me, like, how did you get into it? I was like, I don't know. I don't remember not liking stairs. I just always have loved them. I hate escalators though, so
Interesting.
I don't like them at all. And immediately that is everyone's second question is like, oh, so you must like escalators. I'm like, no, I don't. But
About
I
elevators, do you like elevators?
nope,
No?
just
Anything that
just
moves?
stairs. No, just the stairs.
You want to be in control, maybe?
Maybe I don't know. I think that like there's just like the it's kind of morbid, some of the me being into it too, because like for example, like in America only 3 people get injured on like have fatal injuries on escalators, and like 12,000 have fatal injuries on stairs. So it's like, which one's more dangerous?
Interesting. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, no, as a kid, whenever there was a scene of someone falling down the stairs, I just would watch that on repeat. Like it was like, mom's like, oh my goodness, what is this? And then like back when I was younger, you threw slinkies downstairs. I don't. It was just really
Yeah.
into it.
Well, that's really fun. I love that. The kid
Right,
watching the slinky go down.
right.
Um,
And then they started this on TikTok. You can watch people throw stuff downstairs, like bottles or
yeah.
balls or like anything getting thrown downstairs, and I'm there. My husband is so accommodating too, because if we're watching a movie and a stair scene happens, he'll repeat the stair scenes for me. Like he'll pause and rewind it because he knows I want to see it again. And then he'd be like, you
Oh,
like that, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, I do.
that's love.
It is.
That's actually
He's
very
the
sweet.
sweetest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's super sweet too, because if we go somewhere, like I always like take pictures of stairs. But I try to do it like covertly. So I'll put my phone down here and I'll be like,
Mm-mm-mm.
and my husband will just let me take pictures of stairs and come back for me. So he's
Yeah.
really sweet that way. So
Sweet.
I don't know, over the years I found some like I don't know how to explain it, like hacks, I guess, it cheats. I don't know how you explain getting pictures of stairs. Like for example, like I have a bunch of realtor friends and I'd be like, hey buddy, if you find a realtor listing with some nice stairs, like send it my way. I'm not buying the house, but like I just want to see some stairs. So
Oh my
like
God.
there's semi stairs and I go on Zillow all the time. I don't know how to explain it. And people are like, you have facts? I'm like, yeah, I have facts about stairs, but sometimes you just want to enjoy it.
It's
So,
so funny. I know.
yeah.
It's the best special interest I've ever heard of. I can't relate to it, but I love it. It's so special, actually.
Yeah, I don't,
Uh,
I don't know, like it's interesting too, because I don't think I've ever met another person who likes stairs, and then it makes me feel lonely, but like I
So
must have,
unique.
yeah, I watched Hamilton for like 3 times a day for like a year, because if you've seen Hamilton, all the
Yeah.
props are stairs, and they're just stairs moving around and like flipping
Uh,
upwards. And so for like a year, I just watched Hamilton because,
dream movie for you.
right, it was the best. I love it. Anyways.
So, what has inspired you to become a TikTok influencer, and how has the platform helped you advocate for autism and autistic people?
So I don't know what happened, to be honest. I just was dancing in my bathroom. And originally my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she used to always tell me like, dance how you feel, dance how you feel. So I just would send her silly dances of me. And then I actually got um hospitalized, because I don't know if you noticed, but my older videos, I actually had only weighed 80 pounds, and I was having bad sensory overloads. I had an infection I didn't know I had because I have poor interception skills. So like I was going to the emergency room, and they were making comments like, "Oh, she's not making eye contact. She's acting very erratic," which was just like me trying to regulate with autism and having an infection. And because of that, they, instead of looking for an infection, they put me on to a mental health ward. And this was like 3, 4 years ago. Oh, and I was headbanging again, which was huge because I haven't headbanged in like 10 years. So I was headbanging again and doing self-injurious behaviors again. So I ended up on this psych ward, or mental health ward. And my mom started blaming herself, just because um, of all the treatments I had as a child. She felt like, oh, it didn't work. I made it worse. Like she was really blaming herself for me becoming so sick. So I ended up making a video talking about my mom, because I am a huge mama girl. Like I love that lady. She is my best friend. And I made a video just kind of talking about it and talking about what a great mom she was. And it ended up going viral. And I didn't even post any autism content before that. And the comments really showed me that there was probably a need for that kind of content. So then I just started making content, and now I'm here. I don't know what happened.
The rest
So
is history, as they say.
yeah, right. My mom is now is cancer free, and now I guess I'm an autistic content creator.
It all worked out. I'm so
Right?
glad to hear your mom is
Yeah,
cancer free.
yeah. No, but yeah, I made it for her to begin with, and then I realized that other parents also needed uh that kind of support. So
Yep.
I
Yeah.
was like, okay.
And I love your videos now. You don't let people speak over you. You're really good at advocating for yourself. And as a
Yeah.
matter of fact, maybe like so much that at some point I had you blocked. I have no idea why I blocked you, but probably like,
I'm,
you used to advocate in a way that was like very strong. And I'm in a, in a mode where
yeah,
I'm like, oh, you're yelling at me, you're blocked.
yeah.
But then we
But
reconnected, and I
yeah.
love that because I so appreciate your content now.
Well, and I think the big problem too, and I've gotten better over the years, but the big problem too is like I was an early diagnosed. I didn't see a lot of peer interactions, because of me being early diagnosed, and I have autism. So like a lot of people will say that I'm condescending or snarky sounding, and I'm not trying to be, but when you have adults speaking down to you for your entire life, and I feel like communication has never been something natural to me, like it's always been something I've had to learn, and I didn't know how to do it. So when I first joined TikTok and I was first advocating, I do believe that I was a lot harsher than I still believe that there is a harsh side of me that I try to be. I don't know how to explain it, like be better with niceties, I guess. Like when I communicate with somebody, I go straight in. Like I don't, and a lot of people tell me it's intimidating all the time, that they're like you're not gonna say hi first, you're just gonna go for it. And I'm like, oh wait, what? We're supposed to say hi, we're supposed to. But I just kept, and I've tried to like slow down, which has helped my mental health, and not post right away and try to um do it, because I do want to work on my communication skills, because it helps me to better navigate the world. So I get it. Like honestly, when people say they blocked me, I'm like, you know what? Fair.
Funny.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
don't know what you
offended.
said to me, because I mean now I get it. Like, you're just very straight to the point, which I really like in people, like you don't let people bully you, I guess, into silence. And that's, you need that sort of behavior attitude on TikTok, because there's so much misinformation and hate. So I guess that's a good way to deal with it. I mean, how
Yeah.
do you deal with all the hate and misinformation?
Um, I I just know that like none of them are gonna be there for me at my lowest moment. So I just kind of take it at face value. Like I don't know, like, and I've been bullied my entire life too. So it's kind of like nothing's creative. Like if you have something creative to say to me, maybe I'll take it to heart. But honestly, after like the first time I joined TikTok, there was some new bullying that I'd never heard, like people saying stuff to me that I've never heard before. But once you've seen it like 8, 9 times, you get like, it sounds bad, but you get like, you don't care. Like I tried, I'm still getting this comment. It's just how it's gonna be. Um, so I don't know. I know that sounds bad, but I'm like, I just don't care. Like it's just, you hear
Just
it
how it
once.
is.
Yeah. Like and like they like all the time. Like I get comments because like sometimes people notice that my facial expressions don't match what I'm saying. And all the time like their comment on that. And I get that comment like once, twice a month, where they're like, oh, like I don't know what it is, but something's really bugging me with your face. I don't know what it is about your face. And I'm like, I have autism.
Oh my God.
Like I'm just sometimes not even thinking when I talk. So like me and my husband, it's so funny because we're getting to these weird fights where like I just smile and nod at him, because like if I don't know what to do with my face, that's what I kind of go to, because it's kind of what you're taught, is just to be like this. And he gets so mad because he's trying to tell me something serious, and he's like, "Why are you smiling?"
He seems very supportive overall, right? I
Yeah,
mean, that anecdote you shared
yes.
about that's so nice. How did he know you were on the spectrum from the moment you guys started dating? Did he know about autism?
So I didn't tell him. I usually don't tell people I have autism unless it comes up. It just seems to me kind of awkward just to be like, hey, I'm Kiki and I have autism. It'd be like, hey, I'm Kiki and I'm depressed. Like, so if it comes up, like I don't hide it. But I didn't tell him. And then we went for like a family dinner. And of course my mom right away just was like, oh, by the way, this one, she's got the tism. And I'm like, what, mom? Like, so my mom told him, and then we moved in together quite fast. And then my brother was like, "Hey, how do you deal with her tics, her stims? Like how do you deal with that?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "When she just walks around the house and makes that noise, like how do you deal with the noise?" And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." So then my brother started mimicking the noise and being like it's a throat clearing noise. I don't know how to do it unless I actually like am doing it. And my husband was just kind of laughed at it. And then one day I was making the noise and he looks at me and he goes, "Oh my God, you do have autism." I was like, what do you mean I do have autism? Like, what are you talking about? He's like, "I thought your family was joking." I was like, why would my family joke about that? Like, that seems messed up. Um, so like he didn't know anything about autism. So when he was told I had autism, he thought it was a joke.
Wow.
Because he just had the vision of, the boy with, severe behavior, etc. Like he didn't he didn't know that, and he was like very surprised. Um, and I loved him because I thought that because he knew I had autism, he still treated me as an individual and not somebody with a disability. Little did I know he didn't know I had autism.
That's right.
He's so good though. I was like, okay. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's nice.
it was interesting. We're living together and everything. But my family did tell him probably like a month into us dating, like around Christmas time. And I was like, yeah, it's true. I don't know.
He
So
knows now.
right? Especially when he started having the kids with autism. He's like, what's going on? I'm getting outnumbered over here. So
Oh, that's great.
he's sweet though.
So you just started working with Autism Speaks, and
Yeah.
there's controversy around the organization. I feel like there's controversy around everything these days on autism TikTok and autism
Yeah.
social media. But what made you want to get involved?
Well, my big thing was I started to realize as having kids on the spectrum is that a lot of these creators are talking about a utopic future, like a future that doesn't exist. And right now, families need support like now, right? So we're always talking about what everybody can do better instead of using the resources we have right now to help people with autism have a better quality of life. And I was like, okay, like how can I do this and be the most impactful with these with with the skill set I have. Um, and I went and I can't remember, someone approached me. I have a great memory. I was approached to join and I was kind of like on the fence. Like someone's like, "Hey, would you do this?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And then I went to a mattress store because I was buying another mattress because we have to replace my daughter's mattress every year, just because she ends up destroying it. So I was at the mattress store and this guy's like, "Dude, you're in here a lot. Like, what are you doing with all these mattresses?" And then I explained, I said, "Oh, I have a child on the spectrum. So we have to keep buying mattresses for her." And he looked at me and he's like, "My child's going through diagnosis right now." And he's like, "And I don't know what to do. I'm really stressed out. Like, I think he has it, da da da." And I said, like, well, first off, like, as soon as he gets diagnosed, he's going to be the same kid as before. So you need to just slow down. I said, as soon as your child gets diagnosed, give yourself some time because after that, you have to go, 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 go with supports. Like, it is 0 to 100 once your child gets diagnosed. So just for a couple of weeks, just try to figure out what that means to you and your family versus jumping on the supports right away. Like I know you want to do it, but a month isn't going to make a difference. And then I gave him a whole bunch of resources. So I gave him a whole bunch of resources from my province that I'm in, and then I gave a whole bunch of resources from other places, and then I gave him Autism Speaks resources like the outline and then the 100-day kit, because like why would I gatekeep any resources when this person needs help right now? And that made a big difference. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, yeah, you know what, like I want to learn more about Autism Speaks because the more I know that what they have to offer the community is the more I can give that to the community when somebody asks for help and stuff. So I knew that working with Autism Speaks would make me a better advocate because I would learn more about what programs you guys had and how it actually operates so that I could help more people in the community.
I
So
had no idea. That's such a crazy story. So it was really like you was put on your path like at the
yeah,
right time. Yeah, but
right.
a lot of people don't know about all the resources we have. I mean, I think the 100-day toolkit is probably one of the most famous one, but we
Yeah,
also have a guide for autistic, made by autistic people for people who have just been diagnosed with autism or are looking to be diagnosed as adults.
yeah,
And yeah, we need to do a better job at sharing those resources and showing people, we're not just about helping the little kid who was just diagnosed, even though that's very important. But that's a criticism we receive a lot. So it would be nice
yeah.
to share the world about other things
Well,
we do.
what I noticed too was you guys have a resource like a toolkit for medication in children to decide if medication is the right path. And it's a survey. It's really friendly, by the way, because you can put your input right into the document. Like as soon as you open the document, you can put it in. Like you don't have to print it off or try to remember. Like you can press stuff. And then I was looking at it, and I was like, this could work for an adults too. Like this could
Hmm,
work for adults. Like some of the wording would have to change, but I was like, went through the questionnaire for my child, but then I went through the questionnaire as a autistic person. I was like, oh yeah, this could
interesting.
help the whole spectrum. And then I did it for myself. So
That's
for
good
the same,
advice.
I was
Yeah,
like, that's
I'll share that with the team. Yeah.
yeah. But the medication resource really helped me, especially because me and my husband were disagreeing on if we should try medication for our children, um, and having to sit down and actually have like a format for both of us to look at and answer through and see where our answers differ so that we could actually communicate better was also really good. So it also helped me and my husband uh, try to figure out where we both stood when it came to medication because we both had different ideas. So yeah.
That's so great. Yeah, love to hear that. Success story.
Right. Yeah. And that's the frustrating part that like people always say, oh, like if you give me money on TikTok, you'll help more autistic people than Autism Speaks ever helped. And it's like that's not true because alone in my family, like it's helped 6 people if you put our whole family together.
Yeah,
And I didn't have to ask my community for any money. like, so
good. What are your goals for your future advocacy and social media? Is there anything that you're really passionate about? I mean, I think you're passionate about a lot of things, but if you could pick.
I do have a book
uh,
that I wrote, but I have no clue how to go about getting it
Published.
published and put out. So I'd like to look into that and see if I would like to do it. But other than that, I just like going with the flow, like having no expectations and just helping where I can and stuff, because that's super important. Right now, though, me and my sister um, working on a nonprofit. My sister is like leading the charge. She's doing an amazing job and she's very passionate. But we're looking at getting community resources to people in our area. So we've only had our first board meeting. So I'm hoping that gets off. And I don't know how much to talk about it because it just started like a month ago. But um, yeah, well, my sister, I give her all the credit, started a nonprofit. So I just want to keep helping her. And
You do
so,
things with like emergency shelters and group
yeah,
homes and all of that too. Do you still
yeah.
do that, or was that before?
Uh, right now, I'm with the women's shelter. So I do volunteer with
Nice.
the women's shelter. Um, I don't do group homes anymore. Not that I don't want to, it's just with having a child with substantial needs, I just don't have the time to do it. But yeah, that's where I'm doing right now. And then I do consultant work for psychology services. And I do that very periodically, like not all the time, especially during the summer. And it's super good because the psychology services that I consult with, I've been able to teach students because they do practicums. So I was able to do like a class on the difference between ticking and stimming, or the similarities of it and how to tell the difference and when intervention is needed or required, etc. So that was super fun. I enjoyed that. So I get to do that on the side. Pretty much whatever I can fit in my schedule when my kids are at school, I always say yes. I'm like, well, let's see how it goes, you know?
No, it
So
feels good. I totally get that. To just do
yeah,
things for yourself, even if it's work, it still feels good.
yeah. Well, I enjoy it too because I went to school for child and youth care, and like I love theorists. Like I love talking about Piaget and Erikson and all that stuff. And so I feel like I enjoy that stuff. Like it's fun for me. My husband's super funny because he always tried to convince me to do stuff by being like, hey, guess what? There's gonna be paperwork. You're gonna be able to do homework. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. I'm like, I want to do homework.
Well, thank you so much, Kiki, for joining me today. I really enjoy learning more about you and,
Yeah.
everything you stand for. So thank you.